Hi guys and happy Wednesday. It is your favorite day of the week because the Hot Seat with Priscilla is live at social media shows here in studio. All of our episodes are going to be live in real time if you're watching it at 3 p.m. every single Wednesday. Every Wednesday I come and introduce amazing people in the beautiful city of Las Vegas. People who are very proficient in whatever craft that they're doing, and I love having them here because they talk about their stories and why they do them. I always leave every episode very inspired, as I say all of the time, and it's going to be no different today because the energy is great. Everyone in the studio is feeling it. And on top of that, we just got done with the holiday. I hope everyone had an amazing July 4th and celebrated well, watched the fireworks, just celebrating America and the beautiful country that we live in. But now we're back to work, and so I hope that you guys are taking a little break. You guys are having your lunch and you're watching me talk again for an hour. So anyways, when we come back from the break, we're going to introduce our first guest, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. So don't go anywhere because I'm watching you. I'll see you after the break. Hi guys and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I am your host Priscilla Moy, and I come every Wednesday here to introduce you to some amazing people in the city of Las Vegas. Their talents and their stories always inspire me, and I'm sure you guys, to get up and continue to do what we love to do. So, our guest today is an absolute dream. She is one of my friends, and she's just has this beautiful energy. Like I told you, the energy in this room today is just, it's giving, okay? We're thriving. But she definitely inspires me, even though she is so young, but she flourishes in everything that she does. She is a published poet and a rising actress here in Las Vegas. So everyone, please welcome Miss Trinity Swearington.
God, I'm gonna cry.
Stop,
this is
don't
awesome.
cry yet. The mascara can't be running, honey.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna burn and it's gonna be
I know.
a thing.
Okay, so girl, hi. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I've been trying to get you on the show, and for some reason, you happened to text me, and I was like, perfect timing. I'm gonna keep forgetting, and I'm like, thank God that you are here. I'm like, the energy is great.
And we've known each other for how long now? Couple of years.
Yeah, maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. I've been in Las Vegas 4 years.
Yeah,
so more than half the time that I've been here.
Maybe two-ish years now since we did a film together. Another friendship built on trauma, but it's fine, right?
That's how the best bonds are built.
I know.
Yeah.
So you're originally from Georgia.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you know, a queen, the Georgia queen, and you have been doing a lot of films out there as well. I know you've been associated with Tyler Perry, etc. Right?
Just once, because I wish it was a lot, but the cool thing about it is I finally broke in through the door.
Yeah.
The big thing about being in Atlanta is it feels like you have to know someone to know someone to know someone to know someone to finally get there. That's one thing that I would be, once I finally knew that person and know that person, and after I created but
Tyler Perry films or his plays and things like that always are part of his community because he has such a big presence in Atlanta, and film is very prevalent in there now. A lot of things are happening in Georgia, but everyone knows that Tyler Perry, his studio,
that's the place to go.
Yeah,
that's the place where it's like once you've made it, you're like, they're feeding me catfish here.
Like, what,
girl? Oh my God! When I was there and I went to my dressing room and I was like, this is beautiful. I think there was a clip that an actor posted and it went viral on the Shade Room, and it was Tyler Perry treats his actors well.
Yeah.
Baby, get it together, because if you're not on Tyler Perry's level, I'm just saying, they were feeding us catfish.
Right.
It was beautiful, and but yeah, all that to say, that is the place to go. That's where all actors, it's just you want to get there. And also just being on set, we prayed right before we shot. We were trying to get this one taken, and everyone was just like, okay, let's gather around. And I'll even say at the show that I was on, Young Dylan, everyone was just so family oriented, and whenever they talked about Tyler Perry, they called him Mr. Perry. You know,
Yeah.
it was just, everyone was just so happy to be there.
Yeah. And a lot of his films and the things he writes are based on family.
Family.
You know, so all of his stories, you know, even though there's some comedic drama, you know, he's always Medea, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's still built on the foundation of a very big family-oriented story.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story in their family, right?
Well, it's not forgetting what's important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when you're trying to do something like what we do, and a lot of times, you know that it's going to get lonely at the top, and you know that sometimes it is, and even like you've been doing this longer than me, and you've even said like, you know, finding friendships is difficult. Mm-hmm. So it really is, you know, what I really love about his films and about the way that his productions are set up is it's all about family.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful things, and that's why every actor wants to be a part of it, right?
Yes, I love it. Preach, girl.
So I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
No, I'm sorry. You can't. Like, just about you, girl. If you shut up, then I'm going to sit here blabbing, and people are tired of me.
I know.
Like they are tired of me.
Girl, I'm tired of my own voice. I'm just like, girl. But yeah, so all that to say, being on that set was one of the truest blessings I can ask for as an actor.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great accomplishment. And how old were you when you started having this passion for acting and film?
Girl, like 19, 20. Like
very recently.
Very recently.
Ah, I see.
Oh my God.
Right before you left and came here.
I'll be very honest with you. The way that I started off in acting class was being brutally honest with
right.
You're literally dealing with people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
So you can't have classes at 3 p.m. like regular college.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's the way I got out of it, and it was kind of like a therapy for me. So acting was my way out at one point, and then it became my way in because I actually realized, I think I'm good at it.
Yeah, I know.
I think I'm okay.
All right, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I came here, I started looking for acting classes again because I really needed time. I was in a 9-person household. I needed some time.
Yeah.
So I still wasn't even thinking about pursuing it. I think on my application to my very first acting class, it said I just need a place to go. Like I just needed, really a community.
Yeah.
And that's what every actor really, I think, is going to acting class for, is really just, a place where everyone can just be as weird as they are and not get shit for it.
Yeah. Theater life.
Theater life.
I love that, though.
Yeah, so that's how I started acting class. And then I really wanted to be a student because I wasn't able to bring out my college classes here. I wasn't able to transfer my colleges. It took a year. So what was the way that I was going to be a student and really apply that same type of energy? Acting class.
I see. So you came out here for school?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, okay, so I came here and I did school. I came here because my parents got divorced.
Okay.
So I kind of took the school with me as a way to, just keep myself busy. And then I started spending over 60 hours a week just in the studio. Just whenever anyone would hit me up, where are you, studio? What are you doing, rehearsing? What for? A scene that I'm doing this Sunday.
Right.
It was just constantly working to act. And people are thinking that I'm grinding. I'm really just escaping.
Yeah.
So, and all this sounds depressing, but it's it was so fun.
Yeah, but you're also growing something that you love, though. You're not doing it in a bad way where you can easily do it in different ways or do something where you're like, I hate this, but it's better than that, right?
Yeah.
You actually found something you're passionate in early on, so that way you're like, okay, if anything, this is going to require so much time anyway, so I might as well. It's a great way to immerse myself and just get better. And right? You would have a story to tell.
Yeah.
And I knew that you loved what you did. Did and do now. And there's so much room for you to grow, but as you're growing, you can inspire other people to do the same.
Yeah.
I would hate to have someone on here that was, I got lucky, right? I knew this. You don't start. We know how many of those people that they got one job. Yeah. They got one job and now they think that they're God's gift to earth. They're like, ooh, know exactly. A couple people come to mind, but you know what I mean. But to me, they do it for the wrong reasons. And the point that I love making on here is that everyone I have in this seat is doing it for some reason. It always starts from something else.
Yep. Even
if it came from the love of it, to continue is the fight.
Yep.
Right, we recently talked about how hard it is to go through every situation because every job's different. And how do you continue when you're constantly beaten down for not even the craft, not even because you were bad at it or if you got your line, it's for other reasons.
Yeah.
How do people, and I'm pretty sure they probably wonder, they ask me all the time, okay, well, then why do you keep doing it?
Yeah.
Right?
So what I would answer to that is really why you do anything. it's so weird because you can have about 10 million reasons as to why you do something, but at the end of the day, it simply is you don't want to wake up 10 years from now thinking that you still should have done it. Yeah. And when you know, look around you and you see people and I see people in my profession, but they're 20 years older than me and they're saying that, you know, they were in a cubicle for this many years and they're finally doing it. And even though it's wonderful that they're doing it now, as young as I am, I don't want to be there. Yeah. So it's like, you know, it really is that fear that I have of, and honestly, my dad, he was in the music industry and he is very boisterous and I almost feel like I'm keeping it going. So it's almost as if like, you know, you have to wake up for a reason that is bigger than you. And it's almost like, you know, why do mothers get up and work 3 jobs every day? Mm-hmm. Because they have a mouth to feed. Why do fathers go up and, you know, do jobs where they would much rather not, for lack of a better term, fucking do. And it's just, you know, they would much rather not, but they do it anyway because it's bigger than them. Once something becomes bigger than you and you realize that you're looking at something from a grand perspective, then it becomes just a tad bit easier. What I do as an actor, to get very specific, what I do as an actor is I specifically watch interviews of other actors and I look at their story, because when we do these talks and we do these interviews, you know, one other person might feel less alone. And I kind of take that into such a literal sense as myself. So if there's Jenna Fisher saying that, you know, the first 10 years are going to be hell, you're going to be in a shitty apartment, you're going to be, you know, your credit card's going to default. Then maybe when my credit card defaults and I'm realizing, okay, I'm just in the thick of it, this is just happening, I'm a server, like I'm literally a waitress doing the thing and I'm auditioning and I'm going to LA and I'm, you know, making the 4-hour drives. And sometimes it's just okay to know that that a really big actor, that 10 other people like that were in my shoes. Yeah. So I don't know, that for me, that's just, it's comforting. And that's how I get through it. I don't know about anyone else, but looking at actors on actors and just really paying attention to how other really big actors made it. Even, you know, stressful situations, you see actors going through trials right now and you're thinking, can this person bounce back? It really is about them and their mindset and what they feel like they can do. And even if they want to. I really feel like that was such a long-winded thing to really say. It's all about mindset.
Yeah. But it's important for people to understand why the mindset, right? People, you know, we can say a simple answer. We can say, like, there's a point of view. But at the same time, they're like, okay, but, like, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean?
It really takes a special person.
And it's special because even if I have 5 actors in this room and they all agreed, each one will have a different way of explaining that because they've been somewhere else. They've experienced something else where it made them understand that term, right? And I always believe the story is the most important than what they do. Yeah. Because if you have a purpose, you will leave more of a mark. Yep. Than someone who just is like, I just want to make them famous. Like, I'm just a star.
And I think the most frustrating thing about that is having an answer like me. It's like, even if I feel it's like long-winded or a little complicated, at least it's honest. I feel like a lot of people aren't honest about why they want to do this. Or at least, I'm sorry, but if you want to be an actor just because you don't want to be this other thing, it doesn't mean that you want this. It just means that you don't want that. Yeah. You know, but people think that, especially if treatment that actors get or just like the fame and this, you know, let's just say I work on casting sometimes. I work in production. I'm literally on the other side. And when I see certain people and I see the amount of effort that they put into a submission, or, you know, if I say I need a headshot and they turn in this, those are people who say they want to be one thing, but it's like a simple Google search will tell you that that's not something that you even submit, right. You know? So it's like, exactly. So if you want anything, I think you would even check Google on what, you know, is professional. And as you see, I'm trying to write a line, like I'm trying to crip walk on a line here. But you would think that people who want a certain thing know the stipulations or even the baseline professionality or etiquette of that like, comes
what
to.
What is the job?
Yeah. Don't show up 15 minutes late to, you know, something that you're literally getting paid to show up and be talent for. Right. You know, you're literally told to show up 15 minutes early. Don't show up 5 minutes late. Or if an email comes to you, don't like at least say received or something. So then it's weird etiquette things. Yeah. That you think that people would know, but they simply don't. And the people who do want it the most. That's my opinion.
And it's kind of like you wouldn't put that on your LinkedIn, or you wouldn't message that to your boss at your company. Then that's the same thing, but people view this kind of as like, not a real job, like, but it really is, right?
They
like,
apply a lot more leniency with it, and I feel like it's almost disrespectful to what we're trying to do.
Right.
Especially when we're in Vegas and we're really trying to be seen as professionals, and we're trying to be seen as people who are
seriously.
Yeah, we're really trying to be taken seriously, and you have people turning in portrait mode selfies for submissions.
And to make it obvious, they show the whole arm,
oh
right?
my god, yeah. Or even like Snapchat filtered selfies, and it's
with
like
the little dog nose.
I look at it sometimes and I'm like, this is why.
This is
like,
why.
This is why. And I'm like, dang it, I wouldn't take us seriously either.
No.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna get mad at people who are here.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be all eerie and like, bruh.
Yeah. But then with that being said, it really makes the ones who really want it shine.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you really have to do just the baseline shit that
honestly,
in LA would be the minimum requirements.
Right. But here, and you've gone through it. Like, you'd be surprised how people show up to auditions.
Yeah.
You know, what they wear, how they're confused as to why that's wrong. Like, and then you wonder, and you sit there, and I don't know about you, but you think you're in a parallel universe. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm sorry, did something change within the industry that I didn't know?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's like when adults be like, did math change? Or is just the way you're doing it a little more fucked up than it used to be?
And you question yourself, you're like, am I doing too much now?
Yeah.
Like, is this no longer a thing? Am I looking too anal?
You know, because I'm so young and I'm still, like, learning. And even then, like, I know that when I was first starting out, I probably didn't follow all the rules. Like, I probably was doing the same rookie mistakes. Yeah. But also with people that you think would be a little more seasoned.
Right, because you learn that, okay, I can see.
Exactly.
Because that's part of growth. We're all going to do those things, you know? But, like, if you can recognize that, hey.
Yeah.
You know, girl, you'd be knowing.
If your resume is like a CVS receipt, then I would look at that and be like, okay, this person's got a...
Mine kind of is, but it's structured.
Your resume, but it's your headshots and everything literally adds.
It's categorized.
It's
mine like. So if you know what, I'm going to stop reading after someone, you can stop reading.
Yeah, but, girl. You know? I remember showing your receipt, and they're like, I'm like, whoa, God, she's done everything.
You also know why. Like, I'm sure you can attest to this.
Yeah.
And why someone in my shoes would keep it that long is because I have to fight so hard to prove to be taken seriously.
Yep.
If
so
I
you
were
want
to
to show everything
down
first.
If I were to cut it down, and they already have this signal, like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess maybe I'm reacting. But see, this is, and you can also agree. Mm-hmm. You react and you formulate your own thing based on how you know you're being perceived. Mm-hmm. So if the standard never has worked for me, well, then I'm just going to keep adding. You right? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So because again, if you're not feeling like you're getting the right treatment, or even then if you feel like you're not even getting considered for the roles where you feel like you should be getting considered for, it's like, motherfucker, I'm sorry, I'm an army man's daughter.
No, I love it. I love it.
I
Speak your
like
truth, girl. Speak your truth.
But it's like, if I've done the same amount of work to get into the same room, it shouldn't have to take you feeling like you need to show it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you have to, then show it.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Because
then flaunt it.
I'm still struggling. Like, either or, and you probably have experienced it, it's like, no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do whatever it takes. And you're not going to like it. At least you can't tell me I'm not experienced, right? At the end of the day, I'm the type, you can't tell me I have not.
Because the one thing that someone can't take away is your achievements. You know, your name and what you've done. You know, the people can't take that away from you. So if my name is Priscilla Moy and I've done 50-11 goddamn things, and you're going to see it.
You're going to see it.
You're going to see it today.
I'm tired of people disregarding, bro.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, you know, just all the power to you for that. Because I hate that you have to do that, but I love that you even have the guts to do it.
Yeah. And the knowledge as to why. I'm not doing it for just winging it.
So,
so technically, you shouldn't have to have the CVS.
You shouldn't have to have a CVS.
However.
But when you feel like one thing isn't working, go to the other. And if that's getting your roles and it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And eventually, I hope I don't even have to hand one in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the goal. You don't even have to hand a freaking resume and a headshot in. Y'all know me.
But also, if you're going to turn in something like that, have the backing to show it.
Exactly.
Have, you know, the 15 minutes early enough to show it. Or, you know, the communicative emails to show it.
Right.
You know, be the pristine actor that you're really showing yourself to be on that resume. Don't just say that you've done something and then come and then, you know, you don't, it's like, you were on what set again? Luckily, I haven't had to deal with too many people like that. I don't think I've even had to deal with many. I think it's just really those bunches that it's just like, okay, all right, that was a hard day.
And I've been on sets with you where you are more on the production side.
Yep.
Right? People literally, you're the one that they send fixing every problem.
Yep.
and you're one of the only, like, out of a group of men, like, they're all men, you know, lighting, grip, director, producer, all that stuff, and then you're like the female, and you're literally running the show.
Yeah, I think
so
I went on
do you love being on sets no matter what the case may be? Are you someone that just loves being on set?
Yes. I have a weird addiction to seeing how the sausage is made. It is, because for me, it's like a beautiful thing. Even just watching films, I'll pause it and I'll look at my mom and be like, you see that symbolism there? You see on the jacket at a UFO? Like, that was so cool because it's foreshadow. Like, everything about it is just like, you know, I'm a student at heart. So, you know, it's just everything about film is just so cool. Like, even when they bring out the camera with the 16,000 lenses and it goes like that, and you look at this picture and it's so beautiful. And I don't know, I will be that person. I think I was on the set that I was doing in Atlanta, but I looked at them and I was like, this is a beautiful picture you got here.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay,
yeah.
Never heard an actor say that. But those are, so to answer your question, yes, 1,000 times. I am that person asking every single question. I even were on a Red Bull run because I wanted to make sure, like, the crew, like, they were having a little slump. And I was like, there's a gas station 2 minutes away. Let's get everyone right back up. But that's what I like to do on sets.
Yeah, you care about people on set. A lot of people don't, and they're the ones who run the set.
You
know, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you also write. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, poetry, and I'm sure, like, you should just write. I'm sure you write your own scripts, but, like, I feel like you just have so much knowledge just accumulating from learning, because you love to learn, that you can run your own show. So what is the writing experience like for you? What do you normally write about? And you've been published. Like, what are your goals with that?
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I used to write poetry when I was like 8. And I think I was really kicking myself in the butt, you know, maybe a couple of years ago, because I felt like I lost that part of my creative side. And that was before I even started acting. Like, I was always trying to write. And then I think it was just because, honestly, the times that I tried to show it were times that I got discouraged by, you know, people, where it's like, you know, when you try to entrust someone with this little bubble and this little thing and you're a child, it's like, as soon as that gets popped, it's like, okay, I guess I'm not good. So I kind of had that for a long time. And then once I started getting into it, it was really just, I have a lot of words and I really need to put this out. And I wasn't acting and I wasn't doing anything. And it was just like that need of expression. So once I finally got it there, and then I started acting, and I started going back to these little notes of, you know, just couplets. You know, today I was sad because my popsicle, you know, melted. And then maybe 28 days later, I'll have another note saying my popsicle melted and something else melted. And, like, you know, it's like it added up. And then I think one day I kind of looked at all of my notes, and I had my first spoken word poem. And it was on a day where I told in my acting class that I would actually do a spoken word poem. So it was actually something that I created the morning of. And then I got to say it, and everyone was like, oh my God, like, that was pretty good. So then I kept doing it. So it was literally just me saying, like, I'm going to take these things and I'm going to, you know, try to make something out of it. And I hope it's good. And then people started saying, like, oh, it's good. So I felt like that, you know, 8-year-old who tried to show one thing and was, like, you know, getting discouraged, that same 8-year-old got to show something and got encouraged. And then it really just started like an uphill thing. So then I started writing more and I started doing more. And then all of a sudden I had about 60 poems just kind of sitting there. And right now I'm trying to, you know, make a little book out of it. I'm trying to, you know, do something with it. I don't want to share the title yet, but I do have a title. And it really is a culmination of everything that I've learned since I've gained, you know, that ability to express again. They go from, you know, 1 line and 2 lines to whole spoken words poems to just maybe one stanza and maybe another rendition of that stanza. Maybe I thought about the same thing, but from a different perspective. There are letters to my mother, my father, my cousin, and it probably taking a lot longer than an average poet would take to write something, because a lot of times I feel like I have like a processing thing. I feel like I use that to process, and maybe I'll process one thing and I'll process something, you know, that I'll process another detail about it 2 months later, and then I'll write about it. And then once I fully process that entire thing, that's where the thing becomes a spectacle.
So it kind of would be like a story of your life in a way.
100%.
It's as you're just, even if you're like, oh God, that's so cringy. I wrote that when I was like 10 years old. But it's kind of important to have that, though. So you can kind of see growth, and that kind of is like a good purpose of the book, because you're just watching a girl grow into herself through her life experiences, but through poetry.
It's so weird because once I tell you the title, I'm going to tell you like when we're done, but it's so, because exactly what you said goes into like what it is. So that hits the nail on the head of exactly what it is. And that's why I like taking something from, 10 months ago and saying, how do I feel about this now? Or do I feel like I've moved past it? Do I still feel the same? If so, is it deeper than that? What have I learned about it? A lot of my poems start with, I've learned this. Like, it's that I've learned this. And that's, I just feel like, if you're not willing to grow, then you're not moving forward. That's my lesson. Well,
it's a very inspiring and very true statement that a lot of people don't like to admit, especially out in the open, especially on camera. Because they're just like, no, I've always been this cool. When it's like, that's not really right. Like, sometimes it's great to be open, and because, a lot of times it comes from trauma. A lot of people might not want to embrace those things about themselves, but it's very important just to do it for yourself. Because there's no way that you'll be able to advance in whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be the arts. It could be anything in life. Just emotional maturity, like how your presence is when you walk into a room can change because you accepted who you are and what your life is about, right?
I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of growth can come from just realizing that you were the villain in someone's story. Like the amount of progression of your personality that can happen if you can just realize that maybe you did say something that offended someone. What came deeper from that? Were you having a terrible day? What makes you the type of person that has a terrible day and puts it on? Like, asking yourself all the deeper questions. Just because you did something bad, or if someone says something, like, I don't think people are willing enough to look at the negative parts of themselves. Like, that actually takes a lot of courage and a lot of gall and a lot of this and a lot of that. And when you realize that you're the villain of your own story, you can either go one way or another.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. That's another thing in my poems is a lot of times I'm looking at myself. And I'm thinking, I could have done better in this situation, or, I want to do this, but I'm just not there yet. It's acknowledging that I could be doing something differently, but, sometimes awareness does not mean physicality. So I think just being willing to look at that, and again, I'm so young, and I just feel like these are things that I'm probably going to have to learn before, the real stuff comes, the bigger roles come. If I don't want to drown, then I need to know myself.
So do you write scripts at all, or is that something that you're looking towards in the future, since you do have experience writing in general?
I want to. I have a lot of ideas. I'm an idea fairy. I'll be honest with you. If I could have a scribe to write all of my ideas, I would want to. Just like, write this down.
It comes at random times.
Oh my God. And girl, when I tell you, I be coming up with movies, and then a week later I see the trailer and I'm like, it wasn't fast enough.
See?
So I definitely do have a lot of ideas. I have written like 1 or 2 scripts. I've written a shitload of outlines and a whole bunch of log lines. But I've never, I think it's also like I've gotten good at poetry, I've gotten good at acting, but if I try script writing and I'm terrible at it, I'm just going to kick myself for it. So I'm not there yet. I haven't done it.
Something that you're looking
I would absolutely love to. I have so many, like, it really just takes sitting down and doing it. And then when I feel like I've started and then it's not good and I'm just like, close laptop, let me just go back to my poems.
I need to recenter myself before we get back to it.
So your girl's about 16,000 recenters before making a script.
But I love that you're focusing on quality, though. You're not going to force yourself to make something if it's not something like, okay, because if anyone who forces himself creatively, it's not going to be the best that you could do. If you like relax and be like, all right now I'm not in a great mindset, so it's nothing I'm going to write right now. It's going to come up.
I'm more inclined to write this than that, so let me stop writing that and actually write this. Because then it's actually more honest, and then maybe the day might come where I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get in one line, and I'm going to have another line, I'm going to have another line, and then I'm going to have an actual script. But until that day comes, I really just don't want to rush it, because it's like I'm just giving myself the grace, Like I don't have to. You don't have to be creative all the time just because you're creative.
So I know that you previously told me, the last time we saw each other, which was months ago, that you were planning to move back to Atlanta, or are you planning to stay in Vegas right now? What's the vibe?
I'll be honest. I'm like the family cat. I just go where the rent's paid. I'm just kidding. No, that 100% is true. No, but so the thing is I kind of know where I'm going to end up at some point. Which is probably going to be Atlanta. If I end up getting, a job that pays good like well enough monthly and it's recurring enough, then I'll probably have to be in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just at the point where wherever I have to be, I'm totally okay with it. Where I'm home based is in 2 different places, which is Las Vegas where my mother lives and then Atlanta where my father lives.
Okay.
So literally on all my business documents, especially for acting, like I have those 2 locations on there. So it's weird to say like the vibe is both, but it actually like business and financially, it actually is both. Yeah.
But they're 2 great markets. I mean, completely different markets, but you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because they're not the same. And one's really growing, and then Atlanta, I feel like you would fit the the look, the thing, and you already are from Georgia, so you kind of know what the culture is out there. And whereas if you're doing a whole LA plus like a New York, it's kind of both really aggressive cities when it comes to film. So you kind of it's kind of great to experience both and get your hands wet.
Before I go to LA or New York, where I definitely feel like I'm going to end up at some point. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like New York is going to, that something's going to take me. And I don't ever want to be one of those people who's just going to move somewhere because the market is better.
Right.
My finances ain't built like that. Props to the people who are, but that ain't me. I am not part of that crowd. So, I am, fully open. And I also have my connects, in certain places where if I were to move there, I would be familiar. I would actually be somewhere. So, yeah, I'm well prepared to be, anywhere where the work is. But I feel like New York and LA, it's just they're going to have to pay for me.
Exactly. Period.
Yeah, because
sometimes it's a little overrated. Okay.
I've been to LA so many times, and it has not changed once.
No, and then millions of people are doing the same thing, and then they're all going to look at you just like the other actors, right? Like we're not the same people.
Yeah, and
so
also, and just because other people do it doesn't mean that that's my journey. I know people that go to LA and they thrive, and I also know people who run out their bank accounts and they come right back to Vegas.
Yeah,
and it's like you tried to do this thing that worked for someone else, but you didn't realize that they had these other resources that you probably didn't even know about.
Exactly.
So
I always tell people, like, don't go move for the city thinking the city will make you. Because at the same time, like, some people move to places like New York and LA and they don't even like the city. So you're somewhere you hate. You're not going to thrive where you hate it.
Not getting any better.
No, because you're miserable. So you're like, you don't have any motivation. Like, you just are hating your life, and the city is going to eat you alive. And people in Vegas will too. A lot of people just don't fit in here, and that's fine. But you have to understand. It's like self-awareness we talk about. It's understanding where you fit, what your goals are, and if you have a plan.
I think one of the biggest things for me is knowing and understanding that I don't always have to be acting, or even like one of the most fruitful pieces of advice that someone gave me was keep your day job. It's just, whatever you do, make sure that you're keeping your rent paid. And that, if you show up on a set, you should not be behind. And that's just to make sure that, you're always making it, like you're taking care of you before you're taking care of your career. Because your career can't come from someone who's, not even trying at that point. Because at that point, you're just on a downhill slope. So one thing that someone told me was keep your day job, keep your days off, and make sure that you're making time for both. But don't ever just fully dedicate yourself to the acting world. And don't ever just fully dedicate yourself to just getting your bills paid. But it takes a special kind of, separating and aligning and trial and error, doing it wrong, doing it right. But I just lost my train of thought.
That's right. There is one more thing I do want to ask you, and it's about your spirituality. You're a very spiritual person. The first time I even met you, you did a tarot card reading for me, or you attempted to start it, and then we can finish it, which I hope we can one day.
Oh my God,
we can redo it. Like, let's redo it.
FaceTime me anytime. I have my tarot. Yeah, I have my tarot cards on deck all the time.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So you do tarot, which is something that not a lot of people do or can do, at least well, right?
Yeah.
So what was the origin of this?
The origin of it is I did it for my family first. Well, okay. I was thinking about doing it 4 years before I got here. So basically 8 years ago, I was thinking about getting my first deck of tarot cards. Then I didn't because I realized that they were a little expensive. Then I moved here, and then my grandmother, she literally just comes into my room one day and she's like, hey, I got this little bitty deck. It was about $10. I literally have no use for it. Take it. And it was a tarot deck. And I was like, did you ever think that I had an interest? And she's like, no, I just felt like giving it to you. So that was my very first thing. So I even had like a spiritual mentor. She was really dope, and oh my God, I need to call her. Then I even had a spiritual mentor, and she taught me how to read. And then I started doing it for family, and then turns out that it was actually really hitting. Like the things that we were talking about, it was actually like very deep. Then I started doing it for friends, and they were like, you should get this, like, you should have people pay. And I'm just really uncomfortable with asking people for money. So I never did that, but I really just do it recreationally. I do it literally for people that I meet that I'm just like, you would probably want one.
Yeah, like you feel the energy, or something's telling you something, and you're like, I have to get it out. Do you
ever
feel that?
It's almost like I'm just like it's like when I ask you if you want a tarot reading, it's because I'm getting the overwhelming feeling that I really want to give you one. Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's just the feeling of like I have something that I really want to tell you. I don't know what it is, but like when we both find out, it's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I get. And sometimes I get a little uncomfortable again because I want to ask people and I don't even know if they're comfortable with stuff like that. Maybe they're religious or they just don't. They feel like the death card really means death. So it's so stupid. Whenever I had to explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the origins of it. But it is something where it really is just if I feel like someone has a message, I'll even like go to them on Instagram or Facebook and I'll type out my little thing. They won't even know that I gave them a tarot reading, but I have like this really cryptic message and it somehow makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still do it. But also I got a little scared one time because tarot reading does open portals. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter if you believe in it. It can be true. I cannot believe in Niagara Falls. So it's just, tarot reading does open portals. And when those portals are open and you don't know how to close them and you're not well educated in closing them, terrible things can happen. Yeah. So once I realized that I was getting certain feelings, I just cut that shit off really quickly. And it's been a couple of months since. So yeah, I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, I'm going to call you when I get home.
Yeah, girl. No, do it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to scare
you. No. I'm not scared. No, because I love this because I understand. I know what you're saying. Some people can scare, but you have to be able to understand. You have to take this for what it is. But at the end of the day, you have to have boundaries.
Yeah, and you have to
like
spiritually know how to do it.
Right. Like it's weird to say to people if you're not well versed in this type of world when it comes to spirituality. People that see energy, feel energy, do readings.
Yeah,
you have to know how to be like, I'm not allowing that.
Yep.
Afterwards, right? You can take what it is, understand that, and take,
There's a literal physical thing that you have to do to make sure that whatever energy is coming in, you do not go home with it. It is really easy to have a reading with a depressed person and then spend the next 2 years, 2 days in bed, like 15 hours. Yeah. Like that was something that I was going through was, I would literally do a reading and then for the next week, I would just be feeling like I'm hopeless and I'm this and I'm that. And it's because I did one 20-minute reading with someone who felt like that. Yeah. So, not knowing how to deal with that, I had to stop.
Exactly.
But knowing how to deal with it now, I do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's how I feel every time I do episodes like these. Even our job is to be in contact with so many people at one time. Yep. So even if you're not doing a reading, if you're someone like me and you naturally feel people, and that's how you connect with them, you're drained by the time you get home. Yeah. And it's hard to explain to people. So I understand what you mean by you have to just not allow that and just recenter and focus because your girl being at home being heal me, no one call me the next day, please.
Or even doing a role, where you're in this certain energy and then you have to get out of it. One thing that I do is I try to get out of it as soon as the camera stops. I cannot be one of those method actors who stays in it. Yeah, because I will take that and internalize it. I can get into it very quickly. I can cry on demand if you need me to.
It's a switch.
But as soon as you stop needing me to, I'm sorry, but I'm done.
Literally, when people laugh, because once they say cut, I'm like I let it go instantly.
Yep.
But it's not for everyone. You have to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And then depending on how you train as an actor, because some people aren't into that. They have to spend a whole day as the character for it to be showing.
Just my puppy died, my mom died, my sister died.
I'm like, no. I'm like, you do you, but that's not for me because I can't with y'all. Right? It's traumatizing. And then also I'm like, this is not my only job. I have another gig after this. I can't go there as this.
Yeah, all puppy eyed.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Yeah.
This is why we're here, girl. You feel me.
It's so funny because I remember doing it's a movie that I'm not really sure if I'm even supposed to talk about or I just haven't even received anything about it about how we're promoting it. But for the movie that I did in Atlanta, I just remember with my scene partner, I feel like such an asshole because every time we had the cameras off, I'd say something. I'd be like, I have gas. or it's something where
Uh-huh.
like for me it's getting myself out
Yeah.
of that energy, but I could see for him it was probably getting him out of energy in the worst way possible.
Right, he's probably like, wait, I'm so distracted. What did you just say? Wait, hold on, I'm confused. Let's talk about it. You know?
No, yeah, and I like, can you just shut up and
Yeah.
da, da, da. And I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta burp. Like I'm saying all
yeah.
these things,
Yeah.
and it for me, it's getting myself out of that thing and back into the groove. But for him, I'm thinking like, am I getting him? Like, am I messing with his, moment, or am I messing with his energy? I felt terrible during that entire shoot.
I understand you though.
Yeah, because it's just how different actors work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Exactly. I love that though. I love that we talk about it. I love how this conversation ended up talking about
so many things. Yeah, just saying I have to burp to your scene partner who you're not really that well acquainted with, and hopefully they understand that you're just trying to lighten the mood, my guy, because this scene is depressing.
Yeah. So I have one question really quickly. I always ask all of my guests right before I end the episode.
That's cool. And
it always their answers are so interesting because it literally sums up their whole interview.
Okay.
It really shows how genuine they are. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
Ooh. There's a couple. It's so weird because I feel like they change. I feel like the philosophy changes every time I have a new mission that I'm trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. Right now, there is safety in silence. Mm-hmm. Like right now, that's what I'm trying to achieve. Like as much as I've been talking through this this entire thing, what I've tried to learn is silence is a virtue. Because you don't need to boast about everything for those things to actually be happening. Like all the things that I've been doing, the only time I really talk about it is when someone asks me. Yeah. And that's because I feel like, there's power in the things that you stay silent about, or even not feeling like, me doing my other jobs while there's a writer's strike going on. Like there's power in the silence of my emails. I don't always have to be thinking that I have to be getting auditions for my blessing to be coming. Yeah. I just have to trust that it's coming in. I have to be getting prepared for it. So that is the motto that I'm living by, and it's to silence my mind. It's to silence my anxiety, really, while everything's going on when we don't have work. And I know that there's non-union going on, but when it comes to SAG stuff and the real stuff that's coming in, and that was coming in my emails, they're not anymore, but there is power in that silence because there's real shit going on. So yeah, that I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It shows how humble you are. And what your goals are isn't to constantly be out in people's faces.
Yeah, no.
This is what I take. I love doing that. I love dissecting people's answers because it shows the audience that, even though you're sitting here and you're on camera and you want to say things well for the camera in a way that people can connect, you're still showing who you are as a person and what your goals are and how you achieve those goals. Yeah. And that's always my goal for interviews, is to show the person, and they don't even realize most of the time. I watch people slowly unfold as we sit in these chairs talking for the people. But your answer alone, underneath all of that, you're like, I'm not worried. Right? I don't care about what are people perceiving about what I'm doing. Yeah. I like the art for the art. I don't have to constantly be in people's faces to show them that I am an actress or that I am a writer or that I'm doing these things, because it's going to come in due time, and you want to make sure it comes at the right time. Right?
Yeah. I've had people ask me, hey, Trin, are you still acting? And I'll be honest with you, there's part of me that gets offended, and it's like, the first thing that you don't want to ask an actor is if they're still doing, it. But also, I realize that I don't promote anything and I don't do this thing. But also, it's just when I have this little bubble right now. Yeah. And all I'm doing is preparing. I don't feel like I'm even doing right now. Exactly. I feel like I'm getting ready for the big thing. And when that big thing comes, it's going to be like, you should have been here yesterday type shit. But I want people to really be like, wow, she popped out. Exactly. Not just always every single week, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm here. And it's just like,
that's not you.
That's not me.
And that's great that you're not forcing yourself to be that just because you feel you have to.
It would feel so forced. It would feel,
exactly.
Because I've never been that person.
Yeah.
I would have stuff going on that's not even acting related. So
I love that.
Yeah, but that's me.
Fantastic answer. That is you, and we love it. We love that you are a true queen, self-made, and you're still following who you are. You're not filling into those industry, this is what you have to do type situations that we talked about earlier. Yeah. You don't have to do that just because that's, to understand that, there are things. Yeah. Like headshot, things like that, have this, that, but at the same time, you're you, I'm me, Maria's Maria, right? Like everyone's them, and you'll find your way as long as you do it in a way where you're like, at the end of the day, at least I know I'm not pretending to be someone else.
Yep.
You know, I'm leading, and this is Trinity.
And you're gonna like having your own girl. Journey.
Exactly.
You know, what works for this person and what's getting them where they need to be is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
And it's not. And what it works for me, they're going to think like I need to promote myself. I need to do this and I need to do that because I'm in a different stage of my career than you, Trin. Mm-hmm. And that's 100% true.
And that's fine, right? That's for that person. Like, do you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I'm here for you, girl.
Especially if it's getting you what you need. Yeah. It's like you don't have the same mission as me. I don't have the same mission as you.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think as long as you're going after what you are authentically, that's the word. It's authentically. You know, but as long as we're not lying to ourselves and thinking that we want one thing when we want another, it's like okay, then I can do that.
Exactly. So that's what I love too. I love people when people are honest. Like, hey, that's your goal. Yeah. And that's just don't pretend.
I will clap for you every single time you require an applause.
Yeah.
But
the minute I know that, okay, come on, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like you're
like okay, like how many applauses do I have to do this week? God damn it!
But I love that, and I love you, and I'm so grateful that you're here in the hot seat and you're able to share your beautiful story.
Thank you.
Even though I love Trinity. She always comes in. She's like, really? Like, really? I don't know. Really? Do you really care about me? Like, yes, we care, Trinity. We care about you. And everyone should. So please tell everyone where they can find you, where they can contact you in the event. They're like, hey, she'd be great for my film. Right? Like, where can they connect?
Trinity Nicole Acts on Instagram because that's what I do. My name is Trinity Nicole and I act. So Trinity Nicole Acts is my Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook, Trinity Swearington, if you're trying to do anything business-wise. Your girl does literally everything.
Yeah, we see that, and she's great at all of it. And we love her, and we love the energy, and she will only bring positivity, and it's not fake. So we love it. Anyway, thank you so much, Trinity, for being on and chatting with me this whole time and spreading your word and your truth. We love to see it. But everyone, Trinity Nicole Acts, and you guys already know, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these great. Woo. Yay!
Oh my.
Hey guys, and that was the episode for today's The Hot Seat with Priscilla. As always, we are live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. here at Social Media Shows, and when you're watching this episode, it is live in real time. Thankfully, today I had met Trinity before, but most of the time I have never met these people, and I'm literally learning about them just like you guys in the moment, and we're telling the story here to inspire all of you at home. We are always open for submissions here at Social Media Shows. If you are wanting to be on any of the shows that Social Media Shows has, it's not just mine, but of course I know you want to be on my show. But anyway, if you want to be on the hot seat, you can email your bio, your headshot, and to admin@socialmediashows.com, and you will have a chance to be booked to sit here to talk about you, which we all love. I love to hear it. I love to spread the word, and I love watching people open up in front of my eyes. That is the goal every time I do this show, is to just really talk about the foundation and the passion that they have in what they do. And you guys don't have to be an actor. You don't have to be a model. You don't have to be a singer or performer or this world-renowned whatever to sit here. As long as you are proficient in what you do and you do have an amazing story to tell and you have great energy and you're willing to be open with us and our viewers, we would love to have you. So, as always, guys, I will see you next week here on The Hot Seat.